Coach, your thoughts on tonight's performance, and then we learned that we will play Miami on November 20th.
Yeah, well, first of all, what a game. Even as an emotional coach sitting on the touchline, it had just about everything in it, that game. Some wonderful goals scored, a tremendous amount of passion and energy. Both teams, for one reason or another, wanting to take full points. And in the end, I think we showed some serious credentials here today that hopefully one or two teams look at and will take notice of, and I'll have a little bit more concern about as we move to the postseason. But delighted, of course, for the 3 points. Ecstatic that we finished the season on a victory, and to know that we have attained 7th in our first season, and we now have a blockbuster game against Miami at home. I'm not sure anybody could have wished for much more in the first season. So certainly, as a head coach, it's a bit of a dream come true.
Coach, it sounds like it's going to be a battle of the two expansion teams.
Incredible.
On the 20th.
Incredible. They've as we've seen in writing and otherwise, gone about business in a slightly different way to us. It's been a great storyline for the league, I'm sure, to look at the way both teams have developed. And there's no doubt about it. Miami looked absolutely out in the cold at one point, and have turned their form around. They've had a couple of terrific wins, and today's result under pressure shows that they're certainly on the march. They've a wealth of talent up front and creatively, as we all know, and the two styles of the teams, I think go together very, very well, and it should make for a very upbeat, pulsating and passionate playoff tie at Titan Stadium.
We will now open the floor for questions. We will begin with one from Tim Sullivan with For Club and Country.
Gary, obviously your main concern is getting results, and you didn't quite manage to get up to 6, but do you think that you sent a little bit of a message with a 3-goal outburst as you guys head into the playoffs that this team can score? This team doesn't just have to play defense to win games?
I think more so for us, Tim, than anyone. We've shown at times that we are very capable. I think the combination that we haven't seen much of Mukhtar and Cadiz looked incredibly profitable for us. Hany scores and creates one for Yonder. But it wasn't just that. There was an energy and a feel about those sort of final 10, 15 minutes. Of course, again, the momentum shifted when we equalised. But, you never felt as though the game was far out of our reach. I mean, there was one terrific save from Joe. I think it was just after their second that I think lifted everyone's spirits, and we pushed on from there. And this is not an easy place to play. But I think the progress that you can see from this team, if we cast our minds back, what was it, 14, 16 weeks ago when we came here and we were on the back of our 4th away game on the spin, and we got beat convincingly. And if you look at the performance today and how the guys have gone about their business, and they've, for the first time this year and the first time in franchise history, come from behind to win as well in such a difficult arena and home field, it's going to give everyone a lot of confidence for sure going into the postseason.
Ben Wright with Broadway Sports.
Yeah, Gary, before the match, you just talked about how the international break will obviously make momentum a little bit tricky to carry from the regular season into the postseason. But does getting this type of win in a comeback like that give you some momentum even through that long break?
I think a little. I did say that, and I still do believe that. I don't think you can have that amount of time off and stay in the groove that you're in. However, I think things that you don't lose, and certainly for players, will be the fact that they can go into a brief rest period when we get back for a day or two. They'll come in a great frame of mind. It will be buoyant. It will be positive. Question marks. There'll just be a great atmosphere around the group that leads towards the playoff game now. Now, the fact that we got beat at home by what I would describe as a contentious 1-goal deficit is not a nice way to come here, knowing that the odds are against us. So, to get a victory, an away victory, keep everyone on the right track, and to allow the guys to be dreaming, to be thinking that they have plenty under the bonnet, and looking at a victory against Miami, a tough game away from home. We don't want to look away. We don't want to look too far ahead of ourselves, but a victory at home to Miami, and it's more than possible. Both sides will feel that. Will give us the opportunity maybe to run into Orlando again. Who knows?
Claudio Villalobos.
Gary, has the team performance on today's match, and especially from those players coming off the bench, produce, I guess, maybe it's too early, but for you, a nice problem in terms of what players you might be thinking for that particular, that important game on the 20th, or is it too early to think about that?
I think I'll be going away and reflecting tomorrow and over the next 48 hours on, just what our best group looks like. What are the dimensions that we need? We're back at home. It is a different mindset, whatever anyone says, when you come away from home. And, to see Hany come out and have such a terrific 15 minutes, such an impact on the game, was a huge lift for all. Yonder takes another step forward physically and in terms of his confidence. It's his second goal for the group. It'll do him the world of good. The guys that came in midfield, and both of those lads have done a fabulous job for us when called upon. And they didn't let anyone down when they came into the game today. And it was vitally important in an area of the field. Orlando have got particularly strong individuals that we didn't lose control. And those two lads in there did a wonderful job. And to add to that, I think, I had Waller's performance out on the flank gave us a real shot in the arm on the line. He gave us a nice balance. He showed some nice signs. Again, it's a 20-25 minute period for him that, again, takes a step forward and pushes him closer to what could be, an instrumental home fixture against Miami.
Greg Hills with the Tennessean.
Gary, in particular with Hany and Yonder, were those two obviously maybe a plan for you regardless, but was the result possibly maybe something that probably pushed you to want to get them in the game more, or maybe not so much wanting to put them in the game? How much of an effect was the result, the current result in the game, an effect on having Cadiz come in at half and then obviously Hany come in the 88th?
Well, to come from a goal down and be level at half time and perform well after a very, very tricky start shows a lot of character for the group. But, as far as Yonder goes, it was part of his progression. Was it going to be a 30-minute window or a 45? It made sense at the time to get him into the game and to keep that progress going after, Daniel had done a very good job in the first half, and he's still, carrying a bit of a problem with his groin. And I just didn't want to push him too far. The two guys that came on in midfield, one was enforced, the other one was a decision that I made. And, beyond that, we're now looking at maybe the right window of time to get guys like Handwaller on. Randall looked like he put everything into the game, and was starting to fatigue, and it was a nice boost for the group, a bit more energy out on those flanks. Hany's one was always going to happen, and it's really a process for him, and was part of the process of grabbing some minutes that make him feel good physically. He takes a step forward, and most importantly, not pushing him too far where there was the possibility of him breaking down again.
Ben Wright with a follow-up question.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about just the substitutions you made at halftime, especially taking off Godoy and McCarty. But can you just talk about the roles that LaGrassa and Anunga have played over, not just in this game, but overall this regular season, especially with the condensed schedule, and just how they've improved over the course of the season?
They've shown what valuable individuals they are. They've stepped up to the plate. They've rolled their sleeves up. They've taken their chance when it's come along. They've not only competed and performed well for the group, but I think they've both shown that they have a little bit more than just, being bit part players in the group. They've both got the capability of playing longer periods of time. We've seen that. They don't look out of place against MLS level midfield players. And both of these guys, as you well know, have come out of USL. And it's all credit to those lads that they've adapted in training and taken, I think, an awful lot from the experience they have around them day to day. They conduct themselves on and off the field, but also it's a great credit to them how they've adapted in what have been extremely competitive games. This is a tough place to play. When this group are in full flow, they're as effective and aggressive and have as many dimensions as most teams I've seen. They have terrific spearhead up front. They have great quality out wide. They have a turn of pace. They have great individual talent. And, I think today we can certainly walk away from here and feel very, very good about ourselves.
We have one final question from Tim Sullivan.
Gary, did you get an explanation on the indirect versus direct free kick from the officials that Nani ended up scoring on? He initially signaled an indirect kick, and obviously Nani scored it completely. Did he just change his ruling about whether Brian had made contact there? Is that what happened?
Team, I have actually the information from Pro, and I can send it to you. But pretty much it touched on another player, so that's
okay.
why I wasn't there.
Okay.
It's an amazing sequence of events, though, Tim, if you think about it. At that moment in time, I'm not going to question what decisions the panel make about Nani sending off. That's his second week on the spin. The influential players, two captains, have managed to maintain their position in the starting lineup when we've played them. And today, it looked like that action, and wonderful free kick, by the way. It's excellent execution, but for me, it was almost, a feeling of fate strikes again, because, Nani, for a large part of the week, wasn't going to be in their group. And then he produces, a moment of exquisite quality to take him into the lead. So, in many ways, I'm delighted that we've been able to overturn that. I'm very disappointed we conceded 2 goals. I'm always disappointed when we concede goals. But I think to come back from, some of the emotional attachments, whether it's indirect, direct, Nani scoring, going behind, all of those questions are rattling around inside our players' heads, and to get back in the game and then eventually go on and win it shows wonderful, wonderful character.
What a tremendous way to finish the season. What do you think of the games and tonight's performance?
Obviously, it's an incredible night. These are the nights that make what we do all the more enjoyable, and it energizes the group. And what an important time and special time of the season to have a performance like this. But most importantly, I think it's just a progression, a step in the right direction for us. And like I said, the timing couldn't be better, but we're very realistic. We understand there's still things we need to do better. It's always great to score goals away from home. From a defensive standpoint, I think we can always look to improve and keep the ball out of the back of the net. But we're in a really good mental space at the moment, and these nights help a lot. We're just really grateful to come out with 3 points and have a lot of good performances. That's the biggest takeaway from me.
Thank you, Dan. Hany, a return to the field and quite a big of impact into this performance. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I'm very happy for the team that we got the 3 points. It's very important before the playoffs to go out of the regular season with a win. And yeah, hopefully it gives us a push. And yeah, we will win the next playoff game.
We will open now the floor for questions. We will begin with a question for you, Hany, from the Gray Hills with the Tennesseans.
Hany, mentally for you after making the comeback, was there any particular edge or particular motivation to have that connection with Yonder or maybe the other players in getting that goal? What was your approach to tonight and being able to actually return to the field?
Yes, I was waiting a few weeks for my comeback, and I saw the guys playing. I missed to be out on the pitch, and yeah, I'm very happy that I'm healthy again, and yeah.
We also have a question from Drake. This one for you, Dan.
You know, Dan, obviously what and how this team has been able to continue it and keep its mental and its confidence despite, rough matches here and matches there, even some of the more gritty wins. But obviously this is probably one of the most respectable ones, probably with so much. And a lot of folks are saying that this team isn't able to go up against the top teams and have those top performances. And what is this type of result, where it is and against who? What does that mean for your guys' confidence and even your message to other teams in the East?
Yeah, I think it's a balance between being obviously elated and understanding how important this was for us and from a momentum standpoint, but also being realistic and being practical about what we need to improve on. I think one of the most telling things about tonight was, I'm pretty sure it was our first come from behind victory. We haven't been in that position yet. I think that's a very valuable experience to be playing from behind. Obviously, you never want to have that be how you start the game and to give up a goal so early, but it's a great indicator of the character we have in the locker room, the guys that we have, and who's able to come in and who's able to, be bright and be, effective at both ends of the field in very important moments. So I think this 3 points, obviously, we wish it would have done a little bit more for us in terms of our position in the table for sure, but we're just going to focus internally on what we've been doing well and what we can improve on and move forward. And we have a good little chunk of time now to not necessarily reset, but to, train finally. These games have been coming so thick and fast. It'll be nice to have some time to get into what would be a normal swing, a normal schedule, and, prepare for what's going to be an awesome game.
Tim Sullivan with For Club and Country with a question for you, Dan.
Dan, obviously, you guys have been very proud of your clean sheets all year, but for you personally, especially, how good does it feel to be one of the guys who manages to put a goal on the back of the net on a night when your defense wasn't able to keep the shutout and play a role offensively to get the win?
It's great. I mean, I think one of the most important characteristics of this team this year is how many goals we've gotten from different guys in different moments. And I'm always going to be happy to score goals. I don't, I'm not going to discount that, but I think we just have a great mindset right now that we know that goals can come from anybody at any time. And it makes my job incredibly easy as a part of the back line. We just need to focus on doing a better job of starting the game. I think tonight was a bad example of that, but for the most part, I think we need to continue the good work we've done throughout the course of the season and be solid and give a foundation to the guys in front of us that are special in the attacking third. And we saw that tonight. And so it's a great combination of those two dimensions. And we're very happy to get 3 points under the circumstances.
Tim Sullivan with a question now for you, Hany.
Hany, how frustrated were you to be not quite ready physically to get back on the field the last couple of weeks, and then obviously play such a huge role in the win?
Yeah, it was hard for me when I got injured in Houston. I think was one of my best games here for Nashville, and I wanted to start now finally to play good for our team and help the team. So and yeah, then I got the message from the doctor that it's a muscle injury. So I was very sad, but yeah, that's part of our job, and I think it's part of our job also to focus and to work hard again for the next chance. That's also the beauty in the game. You play bad today, you can be the hero next game. So that's we need to be realistic, and we have the next chance in the playoffs, and we need to focus on our next game.
Claudio Villalobos with a final question for you, Dan.
Then a goal is a goal, but does it have a different flavor?
No. This is not a goal. It's a goal. Yeah?
No. It was a beautiful goal, actually. But what I'm trying to say now, those of us who kicked a ball sometime, we were always making fun of us whenever we scored a goal with the wrong foot, just to say it that way. But was it that the case for you today with the guys? And the same thing could be said for Hany with a header.
No, well, I'll have you know that 100% of my MLS goals have been scored with my right foot. So that's something important to keep in mind. I don't know if I can call that my wrong foot as a result, but no, realistically, it's great. Good things happen when you close your eyes and you kick the ball. So I'm glad that was able to go into the back of the net. But more than anything, it's like I said, it's just great to contribute offensively, and we're getting it from a lot of different guys. And tonight we got it in some really important moments. And the first half we were under a little bit of pressure, and that goal sort of changed the dynamic. And then when we're pushing hard and knocking on the door, a few great moments of quality from Hany and a few other guys, and we're able to win the game. And that's what it's all about. But sure, I got a lot of grief in the locker room for the right foot, but again, that's a noteworthy stat that I score with the right foot more than I do with the left. So that's important.